Hi, I'm Vivian the Knitter.
And I'm Alyson the Crocheter, and this is the Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast.
Thank you so much for joining us for episode 132 of Keep Calm and Carry Yarn, a knitting and crocheting podcast brought to you by me, Vivian, and my daughter, Alyson. I'm recording from my home here in Michigan.
And I'm recording from Scotland. You might know me as the publisher of Moorit, the independent magazine for crocheters, and my mom is the amazing maker behind Pearl and Plum, where she makes project bags for knitters and crocheters. Thanks so much for joining us, whether you are listening on podcast app or watching us on YouTube.
Hi,
hey,
everybody.
Everyone. So, will we fess up?
Yes, but I have to point out that I said my intro all in one breath, and I didn't even fumble.
Good job.
Because I was reading it, actually.
I
usually try not to read.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have to read a bit as well. But we have to fess up because we already recorded this a couple days ago. And, well, I have to fess up. My microphone was not plugged in properly, so the audio was really staticky and pretty bad. So this episode comes to you in two parts, sort of. So the second half is totally fine. This first half is us from the future. But the past for you guys.
I'm wearing the same clothes, but she's not. So you can tell by what she's wearing whether or not it was recorded first or second.
Yes. So we'll do most of our whips, and then I think I'm making you do a little bit more editing because I want to insert an FO as well, which was an FO. It's not like I finished it between the days we were recording. I just forgot to mention it. So I'm using this as an opportunity to add it in. Well, we can, because you're having to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so whips. Archive KCAL.
Whips. Archive KCAL. So remind everybody what the Archive KCAL is?
You don't want to do it?
No, I don't want to do it because you do it so much better than I
do. So the Archive KCAL started on the 1st of March. So if you haven't joined in yet, there's still plenty of time because it runs until the end of May. It is our knit and crochet along where we encourage everybody to dig around through old patterns that they favorited or their physical or digital libraries of patterns, something that's been sitting around collecting dust for the last maybe 3 years or so or older that you've just never gotten around to making. And this is your kick in the butt to do it. And I say it, I'm sure, we all have too many, more projects that we know we're going to get around to. So this is an opportunity to at least tick one off the list. So yeah, what are you making for your Archive KCAL?
I am making my Yell by Wallin, and
that's a cardigan.
It's a cardigan. It's a steeked cardigan. It's try not to hit my microphone.
Back to your good old color work.
Color work, and I definitely do color work faster than I do cables. I was trying to remember what I was saying last time, but I cast on for the largest size just based on the measurements, fit, busts, blah, blah, blah. And I was kind of in the middle, but it's an oversized garment.
Yeah. And there's size brackets as well.
There's size brackets, so
small,
there's only
medium,
3 sizes.
It's one size, large, extra
large, extra large,
and then an extra large. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, so I cast on for the second size.
The large.
400 and large, extra large. So 400 and something stitches. And I was able to fit 2 of me inside of that circle. And my projects, after I block, I've never blocked anything smaller.
So you knew it was just going to grow.
Only block. So it's just going to grow. So I actually, instead of ripping out and starting over again, I just ignored 64 stitches or whatever it was between whatever the difference between the middle size and the first. Yeah. And I just ignored it, put some waste yarn in it so it didn't, didn't completely unravel. And since it's going to be steeked, it's going to be cut off. So
that's where
got this funky thing. That is where I'm seeking, right up the front.
Yeah.
So
you
yeah,
had
that's what it looks like
to
right now.
Yeah, you had to specifically skip the stitches that you knew were going to be right front and center.
In the middle, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So actually, it's not the middle. It would be the stitches at the end. So it looks like it's in the middle or whatever. So it's the stitches, the last, whatever, 60 something stitches at the very end. Put the waste yarn in it and ignored it and then carried on with the color work. It's only in the, not the ribbing, the hem. It's a seed stitch hem and it's curling right now. So I'm not too happy with the curling bit. So I might have to do some surgery before I actually steek and pull this off, put live stitches back on and do a ribbing. I don't know.
How about, I mean, it's a popular pattern, right? Like lots of people have made it on Ravelry. Like,
yeah, I think, I'll have to block it first before I decide on anything. It'll probably block out, but I was just thinking, even if it blocks out every time I wash it, I'll have to pin it when I wash it.
So it doesn't curl, yeah.
So it doesn't curl. There are some people that did a rib, and I saw a few projects where they did a corrugated ribbing, which doesn't roll at all. A corrugated meaning it's when your knits and pearls are different colors, so you're alternating colors.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't think I'll do that, but I might do a little bit of ribbing. Yeah.
So let's see the colors again, because we haven't talked about that, have we?
No,
is
so
color work.
Oh, it's hard to hold up without knocking into everything. Here's the colors, but I can show you my gauge swatches. I think I have them here.
Yeah, because you swatched with different colors.
I did. Okay, so this is the first gauge swatch I did. And it looks better on the camera than it does in person. It was too much contrast. The red was too red, and the lights were too light. So just didn't like it.
Yeah,
and it.
Yes, you got your red, your orange, your light yellows, your mustard yellows. No green.
Yeah, and it's
no green.
There's kind of a green in here.
Light green.
There's a light green.
A bright blue. A dark blue.
So basically, some of it is stash yarn, some of it is I ordered, and obviously whatever I had on hand and what I ordered they weren't playing well with each other. So that went out the window, and I started another gauge swatch, just a color swatch anyway. And this one is what I ended up with, and it's just blues and greens. It's got some mustard.
A little purple as well.
A little bit of purple. So toned down.
Colors. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool
definitely
colors
toned
with
down.
A little bit of yellow. It's more cohesive.
Yeah. So, I mean, the colors that I originally picked, it was similar to the original colors, just brighter. And also, because I ordered the especially the red and the orange here, I ordered them online. So it's hard to tell exactly what it's going to look like once you bring it home. Yeah. And so even though I do have like an orangey turmeric color, it's like orangey yellow. Obviously they look completely different.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely like that. Your new colors.
Yes, so do I. That's why I ended up with it. Okay, what are you working on for your Archive KCAL project?
I am working on an Acre sweater, which is from Pom Pom. This is the first Pom Pom I ever bought, because because I actually wanted one of the crochet patterns, which is this sweater. So it's called Acre. Let me find it. Here it is. Acre. It's color blocked, but the color blocks are sort of on diagonals. So you've got sort of one arm and like half the torso in one color, and then kind of goes from your shoulder to your opposite hip that sort of color change, and then the rest of it is also split into 2 different colors. So there's 2 different colors. Yeah. And it also happens to be in the pom-pom. I bought the crochet anthology, and it's in this one as well. So I actually have 2 copies of it.
Oh wow! Do they have the digital version too? Did they do that?
Yeah. So
Remember.
I'm okay. I'm air quotes here, following the pattern digitally. I've got it on my phone. And this is what I have so far. Oh gosh. I have half of a front panel.
Yay, it looks great.
So I am using the yarn that I originally started making the blurred lines sweater. I don't know how far back that was, but I frogged it because
At least a couple of years.
Yeah, it was.
That's why we never heard about it again, because
Yes,
she
I
frogged the
frogged it.
entire thing.
And I said, yeah, entire thing, because I had the whole, everything but the sleeves done, basically. And the yoke was too tall,
Too
too
tall.
deep.
Yeah.
So I had this sort of
Too long.
boob shelf thing here. And the yarn itself, it's Hey Mama Wolf, which is all, I think it's naturally dyed, maybe? Don't quote me on that. That I had bought at, potentially, I might have bought at EYF.
I don't
remember. I don't know. But it's quite rustic feeling. And it is, I've got it in gray, white, and a sort of sage green? I don't know. But the contrast between the sage green and the gray is sort of non-existent. So when they're together, they're almost hard to tell apart.
Yeah.
So to counteract that, I decided I would hold these yarns double with a silk mohair. And I've just used a drops silk mohair. And so I've got one for each color. So now, the gray, so for the gray, I picked a much darker gray, darker than the fingering weight wool.
Yeah.
So together it's darker. So it means that when that dark gray is with the sage green, there's just more contrast.
So
I took the opportunity as well to pick because the white sort of cream is very yellow in person, which I'm not a super big fan of. So I picked the silk mohair I picked is a sort of light pale gray. So when they're put, I mean, you can see them together, they're different. When you put them together, it just kind of cools down the white.
Quick question. Does the pattern call for you to hold 2 yarns together?
It doesn't. I think the pattern just uses sort of a fingering weight, like sock yarn, sort of 4-ply yarn, life in the long grass yarn maybe, which also means my gauge is completely different than the pattern.
Why do you do this to yourself?
I don't know. I really don't know. The pattern calls for a gauge of 28 stitches by 23 rows. And instead of 28 stitches, I have 18 stitches. And instead of 23 rows, I have 12 rows. So it's massively different. And so what I did was I went through the whole pattern and mapped it out in Google Sheets, or sorry, not Google Sheets, in Excel, and with all like the different color changes and how many stitches per row, which is actually handy because I can just follow it as a chart because it's a very simple. It's just a single it's half double crochets. So there's no
you
stitch patterns.
The whole entire
so I recalculated the whole entire pattern. So I'm not really following the pattern. I've used the pattern as a jumping off point for how to obviously to recalculate it. So there's sort of a bit of shaping on the shoulder so it comes down a bit, and use the pattern to model, how big to make the neck hole and sort of where to start the color change. Although I think I made it the bust like wider halfway through, which so I actually was a little bit further than this before, and I pulled back a few rows because I wanted to make the neck wider because I think I calculated it wrong, so it was going to be quite tight. But then because I was making it wider, but I didn't want to rip out the whole thing, the color change just is where it is, so it ends in a different spot on the opposite shoulder as what I originally had calculated it out to be. Blah, 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 blah. I'm making my life difficult for myself, but I'm hoping it'll all work out because it is, a relatively simple concept. I think the challenge will just be on the sleeves because one sleeve is just all one color, but the other sleeve has a bit of each color. So actually, no, I take that back. But anyway, so how that color changes to sort of, it's on an angle as well diagonal, to try but obviously it's on a diagonal, but then it goes all the way around. I don't know. I think I'm confusing myself thinking about it. That's my Archive KCAL whip.
And before you move on to your other whips, we should thank Bab707 for starting the Archive KCAL thread on our Ravelry page because we completely dropped the ball on that. I checked on it the day that we originally recorded, and lo and behold, she started one already for us. So thank you, Babs.
Thank you, Babs. I should post something on there, actually. Post an update.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet either because I was waiting to record and then for the just like right before when the episode was ready to go out, but then it's not ready to go out right now.
Yeah.
So I didn't do anything yet. Okay, you have another whip.
So I have, well, actually, do you want to do your whips first?
Sure. Is that how? I don't even remember what the order. But I only have one whip, one non-archive KCAL whip that I'm working on because I'm not working on the other things that I started. So I'm working on your sweater, the Fairfield cardigan by Michele Wang. I remembered. I didn't even look in the notes. I finished 2 sleeves. So I did this while I was in San Francisco. Finished the second sleeve.
Nice.
They're quite long, but the sleeves are set in sleeves. So maybe they just look longer than, I don't know.
Yeah, because you gotta.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but they'll probably be a little long for you because
that's fine.
They generally are.
We're short. We're used to long sleeves being too long for us.
And then of course I was working on this last night and I forgot to finish the row. But here is the back. And I do have to admit that I was starting to get bored of it.
Even though it's
cabled.
So
even though it's cabled, the cables are not easy for me to memorize because there's some lace in between the cables too.
I definitely didn't realize that when I picked this pattern.
No, I didn't either.
Could you have just ignored that and just not done it as lace?
I suppose, but it looks nice.
Yeah.
I think because I had been working on this exclusively pretty much the whole time, a lot when I was in San Francisco, and then by the time I got back, I was just tired of it. So when I started my Yell, I was very happy since I haven't done color work other than the one by what I'm going to talk about later. I'm thinking I already talked about this. No, yes, I already talked about it, but it's for this episode. So we'll hear about it later. So it's a really pretty pattern. It's just a lot of all the cables are different. There's actually there's 3 cables in the center chart. So there's three cable charts. There's the right, the center, and the left. Except I think it's and so in the PDF file they're on different pages. So I was like swiping back and forth between the pages, and so I actually did one of the left cable's wrong. Like it's leaning the wrong way right here. But I just left it alone because with the lace in the middle, it's hard to drop down and pick back up. So after I made that mistake, after I realized I made that mistake, I did a screenshot of all of the cables, cut and paste on one page, and then PDF'd that. So the left and the right, are together. So when I move my highlight bar, they move up simultaneously. And then the middle cable, which is bigger, is on the bottom. So I just go right, middle, left. And it's all on one page, and I don't have to swipe around. Though I do have, because it's on a different file, I have to swipe to the written instructions to make sure I'm getting the, when to decrease and stuff. But that's fine because there's not really that many waist decreases. So I'm in the middle of the waist decreases, and there's only 3 rows where you do that, and they're pretty. They're like 20 rows in between each decrease. So that's not too bad.
That also seems like a waste of time.
I know, but I'm just.
I mean, not from your perspective, but just like in terms of designing it. It's like, how much difference does 3 decreases make?
Yeah, but it's so it's 2 stitches, right? And because it's 1 on each side.
Yeah.
Each row, but then on the sides, the front and the back, the 2 front pieces, I'll have to do that too. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't do that right, did I? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 different places.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I follow the instructions until I don't follow the instructions, basically.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so those are the only 2 whips that I have.
I've got a couple more whips. I have a knitted whip. Oh, this is my Lento sweater, which is like, this is a top-down raglan. And I haven't split for the sleeves yet, but I'm getting close. So I've got quite a lot done. And I haven't even shown this yet.
You've gotten a lot done for not showing anything.
I did get a lot done. This I am making, so it's Lento by Joanna Helin. It was in one of the Lane magazines. My knitting group, because all of them knit and I'm the only one that crochets, they made this like in 2022. All of them made one, and then I felt really left out because I wasn't making one. And I would feel that because the pattern calls for 2 yarns held together, and so they were all using either like mohair or alpaca, and so all of their projects were just so like soft and cuddly for a while, and I was really jealous. And I decided at that point I was working on the South Shore cardigan, so I knew I could knit a garment because I was partway through doing one. So I was like, I'm gonna do one too. I am gonna do one, and I knew I had some Surrey alpaca yarn in my stash, and I bought the yarn to go with it as well way back then. And I just hadn't actually started it until I finished the South Shore cardigan. But yeah, like I said, it's just a simple raglan. And the yarns I'm using this Surrey alpaca, which, go on the label, there we go. I bought it when I was in Oslo the first time. I can't even remember which shop I bought it from.
You've been to Oslo so many times.
No, twice. Twice. I've got a friend who lives in Oslo. So there is a reason why I go to Oslo. The brand is Du Store Alpaca, and it is Dreamline Air, 78% Surrey alpaca, 22% nylon, and it's in a sort of cool lavender lilac-y color.
Well, have you used that in something else?
I use this in my Lento, which I talked about the other day when we recorded.
Okay.
Is that what you're thinking of?
Probably.
Because this is the second time I'm
Sorry.
talking about this. Yeah. Let's just, I mean, the fact that we had to pretend like, oh, I've never heard this before. When you were talking about the lace inside the cables, the first time you told me, the first time we recorded, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. This time I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know that. Yes, I did. Anyway, this is revealing our secrets.
No, I meant, I remember seeing it somewhere else. You've never used it in anything else.
I don't think so. I didn't even think
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, no. So then I bought this because the sort of purpley color, I wasn't sure if I would definitely wear a sweater that was just purple. So instead of finding a matching yarn, I went for this Jamieson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight, which is
What color? What's the color number?
it is the color number.
Don't they do
Yeah,
color numbers?
1280 mix. It's I feel like you really have to see it in person. This light is not great either, but it's a overall, if you just to look at it, you might think it was sort of a sea foamy green, but there is a bit of like flecks of purpley grays in it as well, and flecks of slightly brighter greens. But when you put it with the purple, like they're nothing like each other. Yeah, you get what I've got, which overall, I mean, it is like a nice blend of them both, but you do kind of have to see it in person.
It, in the camera, in my camera, or in my screen, it just looks like a gray.
Yeah. Yeah, so knitting. The reason why I got so much done was that I took it with me when we drove to see Sam's family in the south of England. So that's like a 7.5 hour drive, and we ended up being in the car for like, or not in the car, but the journey time was 10 hours because we went the long way to see somebody. And I decided to bring this as my car project because I can just about knit without looking. Like I don't know if I can a little bit. I can knit without looking better than I can crochet without looking. So I have to, I still glance down at it, but I can glance down at it less than the crochet.
Then when you're crocheting, yeah.
Yeah, so
I can see that.
Yeah, so I kind of brought that because I thought I'd be able to do it and not get car sick, and I was able to do it. So I actually got a lot done, and I didn't bring any extra yarn. I just brought, a ball of each of the yarns that I was currently working on, and I ended up running out of the alpaca yarn, so I had to stop towards the end of the journey, but I had gotten pretty far. So yeah.
Oh, looks good. So you haven't tried the second needle thread through to try it on?
No, I haven't done that yet. So yeah, it's getting, it's all bunched up on my cables now, so I can't try it on as it is. I'd have to put it on something else to try it on now, which I probably should do.
Yes, you should.
Yeah, before I split for the sleeves, especially. But I'm going on another trip. So
many trips.
Yeah, I actually think I might bring this with me again. Just because, well, I'll be on the train, and sometimes I do better on the train, but not always. So that might be better. Plus, then I'll be on a plane.
Yeah, an airplane.
And
for how many hours? 7 hours?
Yeah, 8. Like I don't know. And the 3-color work in Tarja is not going to be manageable, I think, on a plane. So I'll probably just bring this, which means I won't be making that much progress on my Archive KCAL while I'm away because I'll have limited luggage space as well. So I don't know that I can bring them both.
Yeah, but we only podcast once a month now, so you'll have progress.
Yeah,
the next.
Hopefully, knock on wood, something. The next one I have is
you actually have 2 whips. Oh, you are.
So I'm making the cover design from issue 6. So issue 6 of Moorit comes out at the end of this month, but pre-orders are pretty much starting to trickle out now. This is the sequence tank top.
So sorry? Are you using the same colors?
I'm using the same colors.
You are?
I am. There it is. Sequenced by Alicia, Arroyo, Blanco. And it's got a button band in the middle, which is pink, and then the main color is sort of this like lemony green, and then there's like a sort of darker khaki green on the sides, and then a bit of like a design that goes up the straps in cream. And I am making it in the same colors.
Wow. Wait. Why are you making the same colors? You never do that because there's so much color in it.
Yeah,
I mean, I love it, but I was surprised that there's so much color.
Yeah, but okay, so this is like the khaki green is like, it's not very bright. This is a bit, but I think Sam would probably call this like a baby poop green. Like,
yeah, it does. It's like a mustard color.
Yeah, it's sort of mustard, and I like mustard.
Yeah, that's true.
And
but it's got pink in the middle.
Beige, and then there's a little bit of pink, but it's not that much pink. It's just the pink on the button band and the pink on the bottom hem as well. It's like a ribbed hem and button band. So I haven't finished it, but I've done 3 straps.
How many?
Yeah. So this is the front.
Oh, each. Okay, I see. So there's 4 straps.
There's 4. Well, oh yeah, sorry. That didn't really make sense. Like, 3 straps for my 3 arms. Oh god. It made sense to me because I know what's happening.
4 half straps.
There's 4 half straps, yeah. It's because it's done because it buttons down the middle. It's done all in one piece and it's done sideways. So you work from one side around to your armpit and then the back and then you work the straps to go, and they're half straps which are then sewn together. So this is the front, and then it wraps around my back. Ugh.
At first, I thought maybe you did 3 straps because, one was wrong, and then you did it the 3rd time.
There are literally 3 little straps dangling from my PC.
Are you are you using the yarn that the pattern calls for?
It is. The exact same yarn, is the exact same colors. Actually, the designer, I think when she's put in her proposal, it wasn't for this exact yarn, but she pretty much had picked these sorts of colors, and I liked it, so I went for it. It is Kremke Soul Wool, Morning Salutation, Vegan Pheno. So it is 51% Lyocell Tencel and 49% cotton. Tencel is made from
rayon?
eucalyptus?
It's some sort of rayon.
Yeah. So yeah, it comes. I think it comes in a thicker weight as well, so that's why this one's the pheno.
Okay.
So like a fingering weight.
Nice.
So yeah, so I actually got pretty far on it, and then I had to stop so I could start
your
archive
archive
project. Similar stitches, where it's like it almost looks like a rib.
Yeah.
The only thing is, it's sort of slanted. Like it feels like it's a little slanted.
Oh, do you think it could block out? Is it because
I think once the ribs on it as well, it will fix it. I think, but it's coming out pretty nicely, I think. And I've been recording myself in like little snippets making it, so I can like put together a reel to be like, watch me make a vest. It's not a vest. There's my living in the UK coming out a tank top. Now that is all the whips I have.
Oh, nice. You ready for our?
Shall we Buzzfeed?
Let's Buzzfeed. Let me find it. What's the title?
Well, I'll tell you what it's. If you're willing to even try sampling these vegan foods, I'll suggest a hobby for you to start this spring. And my hobby It says you should garden.
That's what I got.
Is that what you
That's
got?
what I got.
Despite the fact that you said you took this 3 times and got 3 different results, and of course the third time, which actually counts for the podcast, you got the same thing as me.
Yes.
It says you're down to earth and like to spend time outside, plant some flowers, or maybe even some veggies. With a little love and patience, you can nurture a beautiful garden this spring. You already garden a bit.
I do. I already started some tomatoes and basil in my Arrow garden. Yeah, and the tomato
in your Arrow garden.
In my Arrow garden, yeah, not Madeline's.
I thought that was Madeline.
No, I bought another one for
you each
myself.
have your own?
Yeah, Madeline. The cap was lost. You can't use it anymore. We had I think we ended up tossing it. Yeah, I started it before I left for where'd I go? San Francisco. And obviously, well, so that was before we podcasted last month. And the tomatoes gotten so big now, I have to replant it because it's starting to hit the light. Yeah. The basil is coming out weird. It's like the leaves are really thick.
It's coming out weird.
I mean, I think I used seed from my basil plant last year. And it's not coming out. It doesn't smell like basil. It doesn't even it looks like basil, but the leaves are thicker. I don't know what's going on with it.
Does it taste like basil?
I haven't tasted it yet, but it doesn't really smell.
One time, I made some pesto from a pot of basil. Smelled amazing. Tasted like nothing.
Oh.
It was so weird. Well, took a bite out of it and we're like, doesn't taste like anything.
I don't know. I can't remember if I used whatever seed. It would have been last year's seeds. So maybe.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, so I mean, I already do a bit of gardening. So let's see what our questions are or our answers. Which vegan pizza looks best to you?
I went for the tomato and arugula.
I did too. Also known...
Just because
what?
As
Rocket.
Just because the peppers and olives had vegan cheese, which I'm like... The caramelized onion and kale had some sort of white sauce that for some reason... It didn't look very appetizing. You can't tell from the picture. It looks cold. I don't know how to describe the sauce other than it looks cold.
I took this quiz 3 times, but all 3 times I picked the same pizza.
That one just kind of looks like flatbread with
stuff on it. Yeah, or something that you can get from...
And the bread looks decent.
From like California Pizza Kitchen, which is like one of our favorites.
What pasta did you pick?
The tricolor rotini. I don't really like chickpea pasta. We have a box of it upstairs, and it's just gritty, and maybe I'm not buying the right kind.
I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah.
I went for the spaghetti with garden fresh tomatoes.
Though it doesn't look like there's any sauce on the rotini.
It doesn't, which is why I was like, "Why'd you pick that?" It's
because it has the pretty that looks
pasta.
like nice fresh basil on top.
2 pieces of basil on it. That's what you're.
Well, and it's probably dressed. You just can't see it. The picture just doesn't show up whatever sauce is in it.
With water. Okay. What about your beverage? I know you did not pick the matcha oat milk latte.
No, I picked the fruit smoothie.
Okay, well, so did I. I thought you might pick the peanut butter shake.
That was one of my first options. The first time I took it, I think I did peanut butter shake. But then the third time I was taking it, I was like, what is in it? Like, what is the? It's not ice cream.
You're like, wait a minute. There's no dairy in this shake.
Which would cause my stomach to explode, but I still love dairy, even though it doesn't love me back.
Yeah. Which surprisingly vegan food did you pick?
I picked the one with the floral design.
You mean cup? That's not what I asked. But
What?
that was about the cupcakes. Which vegan cupcake looks best? That's what you just answered.
Yeah, that's exactly how they described it. One with a floral design.
No, I asked you which surprisingly vegan
Oh,
food
sorry.
did you pick. That was the next question. Yeah, that's what I meant.
The Nutter Butter. I love Nutter Butter.
It's been a long time since I had a Nutter Butter.
I
picked the Doritos,
your dad just
sweet
bought
chili
a
Doritos.
box of it. Yeah, it's funny. It's like Oreos and Nutter Butters. They're like accidentally vegan. At least.
Yeah, well, I guess with Oreos, it's sort of like, okay, well, that middle bit is not cream. It's just whatever. But Nutter Butter, like, okay, so you got the peanut butter inside. Oh, because there's no butter in it.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is Nutter Butter because it's peanut butter. But peanut butter doesn't have butter in it either.
Yeah. So
it's more the fact that the biscuit... So for any non-Americans, I don't know, a Nutter Butter is like a sandwich cookie. That's peanut butter flavor with like a peanut butter layer in the middle.
It's a peanut butter flavored cookie with peanut butter in the middle.
Yeah. So the only thing I think that's maybe surprising is the fact that the cookie bit doesn't have any
eggs or milk or anything.
Or butter or, yeah.
Because vegans don't eat eggs either. Excuse me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so like a cookie without eggs is always surprising.
Yeah, but that's like, it's more of a like, this is when I kind of appreciate a British biscuit. Because it's more like biscuity than a cookie. You know, it's not like a chewy cookie kind of thing.
Okay.
It's like, but do you know what I mean? Like, you know, the texture of the cookie part of a Nutter Butter and an Oreo is very different than if you were to make like a peanut butter cookie or like a chocolate chip cookie.
Okay, at home, yes.
Like, yeah, so like those cookies, the Oreos and the Nutter Butter, like they snap. Yes. Whereas like a British biscuit to me is more like that kind of, like that's a biscuit. I feel like, I mean, I could be wrong, but if I told a British person that I went to this cafe and I picked them up some a big chocolate chip cookie, they would like, they know what that is, like, and it's different than say a bourbon biscuit, like.
Okay.
Which is more biscuity. I don't know.
Well, I do have to say that I don't like soft cookies like that are made in a factory, like commercial soft cookies. I don't like them at all. Homemade soft cookies, I love. It's weird. I don't know why. And like if it's a crispy cookie, then I would prefer, I think, the commercially made ones, like the crispy cookies.
What about, is it the Keebler? No. What are the cookies that we used to get?
Oh, the one with the chocolate in the middle?
All the time. No, just the regular chocolate chip cookies that you used to get us.
Oh, that like Chips Ahoy or no, the Keebler, it was like the chocolate lovers.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
Keebler
crispy.
Like that is not, it's not even crispy. It's not like crispy like, you know, like an Oreo, like it snaps. Keebler cookie, it just crumbles. Like,
well,
I mean, like hard and crumbly.
I would define that as a crispy cookie, and
not a non-chewy cookie.
Yeah, because I don't like like when it says, "Oh, chewy," like tastes like homemade. Like, no, it doesn't. It tastes more, even more like chemicals or something to me. I don't know.
Artificial.
Yeah, artificial. Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah. Well, then I don't really make cookies at home.
Right. Well, how long have we talked about?
Okay, let's stop. All right, let's move along to our FOs. Do you have any? You're wearing yours.
Yeah, well, so I talked about it last time as a whip, and you were like, it's an FO, basically, because it basically was finished. But I hadn't... Had I blocked it?
No, you still had stuff hanging off of it.
Okay, so this is my South Shore cardigan, which is sort of my, like, first fully, well, like, large knitted project. It's a cardigan. Ta-da!
Nice! Those are cute buttons.
Yeah, so that was the other thing. I hadn't picked my buttons, and I went to Ginger Twists, the new shop, to pick out buttons, and there's lots to choose from. I was like looking at the ceramic buttons. Like they've got a sort of tray of fancy buttons, and then they've got tubes of like cheaper buttons and the like regular buttons in the sewing section. And then this was both in the sewing section and out by the yarn. I found these. They're just resin.
Yeah.
It says the Petite Maison Couture by Pigeon Wishes, the Heritage Collection. And so they're kind of like resin, but faux.
Oh, cool.
Tortoise shell.
Nice.
And so these ones are sort of like the way they feel, I want to put them in my mouth and eat them. Like I touch them and I can feel it in my mouth. Like I
oh my god, you're so weird.
I could just feel them like clacking against my teeth, and it would just be
so satisfying. Okay, I don't know. Oh, so my daughter, the weirdo.
They weren't terribly cheap. They were £15 for 8 buttons.
Oh wow!
Yeah, 8 buttons.
But they're handmade.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, must be. But yeah, so there's a little bit of color because they're kind of pink, but not too much color. I was thinking as well, like potentially the other option was to get like different colored buttons and do like a different colored button, but the ceramic buttons I thought would weigh it down too much. So yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Very nice. You look very cute in it.
Do you have any FOs?
I have two FOs. My first one is my chess hat by Raina Kruus. It's the it's the brioche hat, brioche knitted, and I used alpaca for the main color with the white, and then a Zauber ball for the secondary color. And I really like it. I added a faux fur pom-pom. I think it looks really good. So I'm going to give this to my friend because she was admiring my shawl, my the Peacock's Pride shawl. She's like, oh, I really like that design and the colors and stuff. I'm like, you're not getting that?
And you were like, this looks exactly the same.
Well, this is similar.
All brioche looks exactly the same.
I'll give you the hat, not my shawl. So, but yeah, I really like the fur pom-pom. What do you think?
Yeah, looks good.
And
nice neutral pom-pom to go with the
crazy colors. Yeah. So my second FO is also a hat, but not brioche, and not for an adult either because I didn't follow the instructions. It's called the
so on accident. By accident, not for an adult.
Yeah. So it's called the Sea Glass by Wool and Pine, and it's 2 women. I don't know what their names, Abby and something, and it is addictive. Oh. It's 1-by-1 color work, and then you just change colors like whenever the heck you feel like it. So what was I doing?
So is it good for like using up?
Yeah, I just use scraps. Look at my ends.
Nice.
So they also do a magic knot, where you know those Chinese bracelets with the knots that you can slide. It's basically that, except they slide it into a knot. Like they knot one to the other, and then the other end to them, and then they just slide it, and then it's a knot in the middle, and then you leave the ends. Or you can cut them. I didn't want to cut them. I just left them. When you change colors. Yeah.
Right. So you don't have to weave in the ends if you don't want to.
No. I feel like if I... Yeah, I mean, they do this so that you don't need to weave in the ends. Because you're changing colors every single row.
Every single row?
Every single row, you're basically changing colors. But
so wait. I just want to. Oh, you have to send me a picture so I can like insert
So
it.
so in each row you're alternating two colors, right? And then like and then the second row I only changed one of the color, and then I kept alternating, and then I changed it. So one color is used for two rows, right?
Gotcha.
So these are
And then it overlaps sort of.
yeah. So these are all, I mean, you don't have to do it that way. You can change both colors every single time, but this is just what I chose to do. And one of my knitting group friends did this hat, and I was like, oh, that's so much work. I don't want to do that. But I was just looking for something to use up my scraps, and I was like, I'll just do the hat. It's so addictive. It's just like, okay, which color am I going to pick next? And so I literally had like a bag of all my little bits, and I was like, which one am I going to pick next? And in like the one shawl with the Miss Babs, that, so I used like all the ends from that, and then another shawl. I mean, it's just so it's like all the little minis I was just throwing in here, and I forgot to add. So after the rib, you're supposed to add stitches, increase stitches, and I didn't, and I didn't realize it until it was like halfway up the body of the hat. I was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it'll work out because I'm such a loose knitter. Well, I mean, it kind of fits, but I think it'll fit a child better.
Right. Okay. It's not like a baby hat.
No. So for a small child. So I have this blue pom-pom that I'm going to use on this.
That looks good.
Yeah.
It like matches the
brim, because the brim and the brim is twisted rib, like it's
Do you know what? I could hardly see it, but I was thinking that doesn't look normal.
You can see the twisted stitches. Yeah, it kind of pops out more, which is weird.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is, like more.
Oh, and I haven't blocked this yet.
Three-dimensional.
I still need to block it. I'm hoping that it'll block out. Yeah, I'm not crazy about the twisted rib, but I followed the instructions until it said to increase, and then I didn't follow
until you decided not to.
I didn't decide not to. I just went forward with it. So, but as I was knitting this, like, oh, a sweater would be really cool, because she has a sweater pattern too. Or they have a sweater pattern.
In that with the same concept.
Yeah.
Would you be okay if you had to change colors halfway through a row? Because if it's a sweater, it's bigger, obviously.
Yeah, I would be okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the beginning, I was cutting the knots, like cutting the tails of the knots, but then it shows up, like sometimes it'll show up in the front of the pattern. So I stopped doing that, and I feel like that if you leave the tails dangling, it'll keep it. It won't have a tendency to go
less likely to come undone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or pop into the front.
Yeah.
And if it does pop in the front, it's easier to just pull it back. Yeah.
Yoink it.
I'm going to give this to my friend's granddaughter who loves hats. So
nice.
That's all of the projects I have.
So I've got one more FO that we're going to reinsert back in that I forgot to mention. And that is my sausage dog scarf. And I couldn't save it for the next episode because I'm going to give it to my friend next week in a few days.
Oh.
So I won't have it.
Okay.
But look how long he is.
Wow.
There's his butt. There's his head.
Oh, it's so cute. Wait, did you take pictures yet?
I've taken a picture of it pre-blocked. So, oh my gosh. This is just Paintbox 100% wool yarn. And it's, Paintbox, I don't know if it's a Lovecraft's. No, it's not Lovecraft.
Yeah.
I bought it on Lovecraft's, but it's cheap
Yeah.
It's cheap yarn,
Uh-huh.
and they do a lot of acrylic yarns as well. Like my granny square blanket that I've got on the couch, I made with paint box acrylic. Um, and the wool yarn, to be honest, like when you're working on it, it feels like, I mean, it doesn't feel like acrylic, but it doesn't feel like nice yarn. And
Uh-huh.
when I finished it, the scarf was probably, once it was wrapped around once, it only pretty much came just below my chest, my boobs. So
Mm-hmm.
it kind of felt like the minimum length a scarf could be. It was a little bit stiff, and I was like, it'll be fine. And I was sort of thinking of not blocking it. I was like, how much is blocking going to make a difference? I don't know why I think that, because I think just because of the quality of the yarn, I was like, it's not going to make that much of a difference. Oh my god, it makes such a huge difference. It's so much longer now as well, so you can wrap it around. And whereas before you had to have it like quite tight.
Does it
and
feel
only comes down to
softer
here.
too?
Yeah, it's a little bit softer. It has a bit more drape. So it
So
used
that's
to
what
come
I
down
was
to
saying
like that.
about blocking. I've never blocked anything smaller than the original size. It's only always been either the same or bigger. Most of the time it's bigger. Very rarely is it actually exactly the same
Yeah,
as
I mean, I guess
it
it
was
might have
before.
gotten narrower because it got longer. So I think
Yeah.
it maybe stretched out that way, which is fine. But yeah, I think it's much nicer now, and like the magic of blocking. Oh my gosh, the magic of blocking. I
So,
added
but it surprises you every single time.
every time, I'm like, whoa. And I just added some tassels at the end.
The fringe.
A
Yeah, that
fringe,
looks
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I think
Do you not call them fringe in the UK?
I don't know, maybe.
Hmm.
But they are sort of tassels, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess because of the way you put them on.
Yeah. And the color work, I'm trying to decide. I mean, I think it looks pretty good. I think one.
I thought you were gonna say that it bled like crazy when you blocked it, when you washed it.
Oh, no. There he is.
Because you're going with, it's cheap yarn, and it bled all over the place.
No,
No.
No, I'm happy with it, and I hope she likes it. And
I'm
I
sure
mean,
she'll love it.
yeah. I mean, she adores.
She loves, yeah, sausage dogs, and she likes color. So there's no reason why she wouldn't. Does she know that you're making that for you?
Yeah,
For her?
I told her because I wasn't sure what color she would want, and I didn't want to make the whole thing and then have it be colors that she didn't like. So I okayed the colors with her first. Although
But does she know that it's a sausage dog scarf?
It is, yeah. She does. She knows,
okay.
So it's a gift, but it's a gift in that it's just just because I saw it, I thought of you, and I wanted to make it for you, so I made it for you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's done.
We know what we haven't done yet is talk about your latest issue that's coming out this month. We haven't talked about it at all. And I think it's because...
Well, I've talked about it a little bit because of Woolly Good.
Yeah, I think... Well, not just that, but it's also because we're only doing one episode a month now, so...
Month, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we talked about it a tiny bit because I said I was doing a project.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is the balance issue. It comes out on the 26th of March, which is a Tuesday. If you haven't noticed, all the issues come out on a Tuesday. So the model, Rebecca, she was actually the photographer for issue 4. But she's like super into fashion and stuff. So she modeled for us. And the theme is balance. So the idea being more like the abstract balance of balancing compositions compositions in art. So color and form and shape and pattern and stuff like that. So there's lots of like patterns and shapes and things. I actually have the samples behind me. So the sequins vest, the sequins tank top, which is the one that I'm making. Oh gosh. This is what it looks like finished.
Very cool. And yours is going to be exactly the same, except smaller.
Same but smaller, yep. We got the syncopate
Oh.
socks, which are sort of coordinating socks, where
Mismatched.
ours are teal and orange, but they're mismatched but coordinating. So they've got stripes going from the back of the top of the back leg, down the back leg, and then down the bottom of the foot.
Oh, that's so cool. I've never seen
inverted
construction like that. I love
Yeah.
it. I love the
it's-
colors. And I know you guys always make fun of me that I hate orange. I don't hate orange. It's just not my favorite color, but I do love orange and turquoise together. That's like a combination that I absolutely love. Very cool.
Got a Fito, which is a long sleeve top, but the real interesting part is the back. It's got a sort of like envelope back.
Yes,
So
I
you've got
remember that.
sort of
Yeah.
an exposed triangle on the back, and one. Ours is mostly white, and then one we've got like a pecan brown colored sleeve, and then half of this envelope back.
That's so. I remember you talking about that. We kind of worked on it together, discussed it together before when you were still just talking.
Commissioning?
Yeah.
Originally, so it's interesting to see the sort of evolution of the ideas. Originally, the designer wanted to do a band at the back, so it would sort of be a cutout as opposed to being open like that. But just the way it was constructed, it meant that there was the potential for too much like gaping. So we ended up having it be loose like that, which I think works pretty well. This one's a big boy.
Oh, wow. Wow. That one is a lot of
it's
intarsia.
A color work intarsia dress, long sleeve dress, in
and it looks
5 colors,
so drapey.
Yeah, it's a cotton with a little bit of cashmere.
Oh,
in it,
really?
I think, actually.
Wow.
You can't tell necessarily, but then when you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, that cotton is pretty soft. That's why. And it is. I mean, it's a long pattern as well, because the color work is just, I mean, seemingly random. There's no sort of pattern to it, so every row is different.
Oh, wow.
And then you got the different sizes.
I can't even. How many pages is that pattern?
In the magazine, I'm not sure, but I just was doing the easy read edition, or like doing the setup for the easy read, and then Renee, who's my accessibility editor, she does like the rest of it. And our starting point for the screen reader version is 113 pages.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the back looks different than the front.
Oh, nice. I do like the back. That's very cool with the triangles, and they almost look like arrows, arrowheads. Nice.
And then there are 2 tops that kind of play on the log cabin idea. Look at this one, she's Burnham. And that's sort of more of a classic log cabin-ish, but like all the logs are different widths, a little bit asymmetrical.
I really like how you did like the 2 colors for the sleeves.
Yeah, the design. I mean, you say you, the designer did that. Yeah, the sleeves are different color. I mean, they're sort of tiny little, a knot at a sleeve. The sort of ends of the sleeve are. One is done in the red and yellow, and the other one is navy and green, which are colors that are pulled from the main body. And that is corner to corner.
Oh, your favorite technique.
Yeah, my favorite, not really. But with this one, you don't have to juggle multiple colors at a time, so you're not doing corner to corner for the whole panel as a whole. You do one color at a time, and then sort of attach it as you go.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to sew it together, but you just join as you go. So you're only working one color at a time.
Oh, that's
instead
nice.
of, I think my struggle with corner to corner was juggling all different colors at the same time. And then the other sort of, not really log cabin, but
I like that one.
is this one's the Moments of Joy top, and it's sort of like a t-shirt top, and you can sort of imagine as if the log cabin was blown up and
cut in
just looking
half.
at a corner of it.
Yeah. Very cool. What does the
and
back
it's just
look
at the
like?
bottom.
Is it the same?
The back is the same.
Oh, nice.
So you've got the design on both sides, whereas Burnham only has the log cabin on the front, but this one has it on both sides, which is nice. And yeah, I think this one, I won't say it's my favorite, but because the samples are not in my size, but I did a Instagram reel where I put them all on, and this one was my favorite in terms of like this size, even though it was too big for me. Actually, it still looked okay on me, whereas the other ones are definitely too big for me. This one is Equilibrium, which is a single color. Sorry, I should talk by the microphone. Equilibrium is a single color scarf.
Oh, nice.
And it has these sort of like filet crochet bits in a sort of a non-symmetrical grid pattern. Yeah, so it's just nice as a sort of simple scarf, understated scarf.
Is the dress and the, what is it, Moments of Joy, is it the same yarn and colors too?
Different yarns.
Oh, because the colors look the same, or maybe it's just the screen. Oh, okay, they're different. There's just similar colors.
There's some overlap.
Yeah. But you already have your the patterns all on Ravelry.
Just published them on Ravelry today.
Okay.
That's
really cute.
The Edifice bag, and this is just your classic hexagon motifs that are all
looks like cubes
put together, but I think so they look like cubes, like the quilt block. But I like that she's done the bottom so that it fills in the sort of negative space nicely, and then the top as well. It's not a straight top, so you have to actually work these sort of like partial hexagons.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
To get the shape at the top. So
nice.
You're not just working. It's not just turn out a bunch of hexagons and sew them together. She's thought about things like that, partial hexagons, and how that works as a whole. Got one more top. This is Counterbalance. That's a raglan sort of 3/4 top, and the top of the yoke is one color, the rest of the body is another color, and then if you look closer,
it's done sideways.
Different stitches. Yeah, so the top is done sort of regularly in the round as a regular raglan, so the stitches go horizontally, the rows go horizontally, and then the bottom bit and the bottom of the sleeves are worked sideways, so you got sort of this like perpendicular sort of rows.
I like the bell sleeves. Those are nice. I like that.
I don't think they're like bell in terms of like they're not
any wider.
No increases.
It's just
they're
the way they hang.
straight.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I like the big sleeves.
And then the last three are all like shawls. So we've got Warp and Weft, which is a triangle shawl.
Oh. Nice.
So with this one, it's linen stitch, but
it looks like it's woven.
So that's why it's called Warp and Weft. So you capture different yarn inside some of the stitches, but because you're using the linen stitch with a chain gap, you can see some of it. So it kind of it sort of looks woven in these sections.
Cool.
Oh gosh, this one's name is in French, and I haven't actually looked up how to pronounce it. But
I'm just gonna call it dualité.
Dualité. In my head, I call it dualite, like Dua Lipa. I know that's not how you don't. That's not how you pronounce it. But this is this is Dua Lipa, like a Dua Lipa. And there's a sort of the skinny shawlette sort of thing, and there's a corner to corner section in the middle, which is done in 2 different colors, and then the 2 different colors are represented on
either sides. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
I really like that one.
And then the last one is Tints and Shades, and this is a big
giant wrap. Oh, that's beautiful.
Again, I think this is 5 colors, and Julia, the designer, I mean, she's really good at picking out colors. So she actually, this was originally a proposal for issue 4. I think that's right, and maybe it was 5. And it just, I mean, I really liked it, but it just didn't like work out with the rest of how the commissioning went. So I messaged her this time around and was like, actually, I think this will work for balance, because this sort of like balancing of different colors, and she's really good at that. And her original proposal had different colors to go with the other theme. And so I asked her if she could come up with a different palette to go with this theme, and she came up with this one, which is really nice. So you've got like a sort of pinky, a charcoal, orange, a khaki, and a off-white.
Is that like a mohair?
And yeah, so it's a silk mohair, and it's a sort of, makes me think very 70s maybe, the colors and the shapes. A bit. And yeah, I don't know how she decided which colors to use where, but it doesn't repeat. Like,
it's not like it's not. Yeah, it's not like a lot. There isn't a logical pattern. Like,
yeah,
I like it. I love that. That flowery pattern, whatever it's called. It looks so cool. I really love how it turns out.
Sort of like a
star, like a half a starburst. Is what, or you know what? It reminds me of. It reminds me of a dandelion. Like you know when it's gone to seed.
But I think out of all of them, this is probably the one that I would wear, because it's like muted colors.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, that's all the designs in issue 5. This is not 5, 6 balance issue. Yay! So pre-orders are closed. Issue sales will open back up at the end of the month, and that will be on the Moorit Mag website, as well as the stockists as well. So always have a look at the stockist list as well if you want to support any, local yarn stores near you.
Nice. Very nice. Well, we've gone a bit longer than we usually do.
You have a shop talk though?
Well, I had a quick Yarny Bits and Bobs that I'll just mention really quick. So I was in San Francisco. I went to 3 different yarn stores: Atelier Yarns, Imagine-Knits, and Firebird Yarns. They're all fabulous stores. Though I do have to say Imagine-Knits was my favorite, only because I had been there before and I talked to the owner and she seems really, really nice. So I only bought like 1 or 2 skeins from each store, because I didn't want to go too crazy, because I'm going to be at a yarn festival next month. And then I also spent a few days in Sonoma, and I went to Noma Knits, and I talked to the owner there too. It's a tiny little store, but it's really cute, and she's got some like locally based yarn dyers. And the funniest yarn that I had come across and I bought is a hand spun yarn that also has cat hair in it. The label says something like guaranteed, something about guaranteed to have a cat hair that was spun in. And it's like alpaca, mohair, cashmere, and then other. I guess the other is cat hair.
Cat hair.
Yeah. So that's just, really quickly. And my shop is open. This is the newest bag. My shop is called Pearl and Plum, and it's on Etsy. and it is,
That's
I don't even know what to call it. It's cats and mercats and submarines and swimming in the ocean. I just couldn't resist.
that jellyfish is just a cat head.
It's a cat head jellyfish. I mean, I don't even know what to call this. Because I usually try to give each bag like a
There must be a pun in
like
there
a
somewhere.
punny
Yeah.
title or something, and I can't think of anything. So yeah, there's that one, and then this is the Alyson bag, and this is the Emily sack, and so I'm still working on the Emily ones.
Sam, he's good at puns. The first thing that came to mind, which I don't think is a good one, is meounder the sea.
I might just use that.
Good.
But yeah, it's I saw that. I was like, oh my god, I can't just leave that on the shelf. I have to bring that home because we're such a cat family. Madeline especially likes this because she's the marine biologist. Maybe she'll have something funny. So that's it. Quick update, and we are done.
Okay. Spiel time.
Yep.
You can find the show notes for this episode and every episode on our website, which is kcacypodcast.wordpress.com. You can like and follow and comment, subscribe and review and thumbs up and all the things on Apple Podcasts or wherever else you listen to podcasts, and also on YouTube. Our Instagram is KCACY Podcast. My personal Instagram is Alyson here, and my mom's is upstate_Viv. You can join the Ravelry group. Just search for Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast in the groups tab, because we now have a thread for the Archive KCAL. Thank you, Babs. And you can also post on Instagram using hashtag Archive KCAL 2024, and that's KCAL spelled KCAL because it's knitting and crochet, but we'll make sure to look at KALs and CALs just in case you mistag things. Thank you for listening.
And remember to keep calm and carry yarn. Bye.
Bye.